All right, guys, we're back with another funded trader interview. This time we have FX Andy Indicator as he goes by in the Discord, but just Andy. So welcome to the chat. It's good to have you here, Andy.
Thank you.
So yeah, we're gonna go through the basics, trying to just paint a picture of who Andy is, how he found the funded trader. For those that don't know, the funded trader, we fund traders who pass our two-step evaluation. So you sign up, take our challenge. Once you prove that you can trade, then you get a funded account, and then you're eligible for payouts. At this point, Andy, you've gotten one payout of 26K, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, so Andy wanted to wait, like most of the funded traders want to wait to do their interview until they get a payout, for obvious reasons. So Andy's gotten his payout and he still does have some buffer in his account. So we're gonna go into his account during the interview in a little bit. We'll take a look, what his account currently stands at. And I think you've been on the leaderboard, obviously.
Yeah,
A,
hanging in
a,
there, second place.
what place have you gone to
I was
already?
sitting in second for the longest because the other guy has a bigger account, but I try my best.
Yeah. So the leaderboards, like people have mixed. Some people want to be on it, some people don't want to be on it. I think it's cool because everyone gets to see, obviously, how much money people are making, which is the whole
Yeah.
point. The whole point of all this. We have had some suggestions, changing it to what the percentage is of
That
like,
was me.
yeah, was that you? Okay, so the like of the account and stuff like that. We are trying to build the leaderboard into like the dashboard. So it's a little bit more just streamlined from our perspective, but also looks a little better from the client's perspective too. So maybe once that's implemented, we'll have variations of the leaderboard where we'll say like daily profit, weekly profit, and then total P&L. But for those that are looking right now, the leaderboard literally just shows the total max withdrawable amount on each of the accounts. So it's whatever the trader's up, that's what the leaderboard is currently showing. So I know some people thought it was like only what they made this week because of the title, whatever. But no, it's showing right now like the total profit. So yeah, you made it. You made it to top two. We'll see in the future if you can make it a number one, man.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah, I think a lot of it does come down to the account size, right? I mean, you have a
100%.
600K account, you go up 10%, then you're up a ton of money, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to if you have like 100K account, you're only up like 10 grand as opposed to being up like 60 grand, right? It's a big,
That's true. Yeah. I had a
it's
lot
a
of my
big,
buddies were like, why aren't you up there? And I was like, yeah, he has a bigger account. Don't worry.
yeah, it's a big
Soon.
swing. So you said what you're going for a new account now? You're taking on a new challenge?
Yeah. 400K challenge.
Let's pretty much get into it. So like where are you from? Obviously I said your name's Andy, but yeah, where are you based out of?
I'm based out of California, San Diego.
So let's get into, how did you get started with Forex? Where'd you kind of learn from the beginning? How many years you've been trading and whatnot?
I say 2 years, but on and off. I used to quit on myself. I used to buy a lot of courses. And one thing I realized is why am I going to keep changing my strategy? Just because it works out for other people doesn't mean it's always going to work out for me. So I ended up developing a strategy of my own, but I mixed it up with a lot of other people's. So I did watch some like YouTube live streams,
Mhm.
like Wicks Don't Lie and some other people. I stood on there and I wrote a lot of notes on my journal and I reflected back on it and I try to combine everything together.
So you basically got the online education, the full go around, looking on YouTube, looking on Instagram, buying different courses. How much would you say you probably spent on like courses and
Ooh,
all that?
uh,
A pretty penny.
yeah, we can say that.
Yeah.
A good amount.
Have you what's crazy is it's like how much have you spent on challenges with the funded trader?
Oh, only one.
Only one. Okay. So it's different for everyone. Some people have spent like for example, we'll get into this once we do the interview with Yusef, the person that just got like the huge payout. He actually
Mhm.
spent, I didn't even realize this, 15,000 in challenges.
Oh,
So
wow.
so he spent a good amount in just trying the challenge. He had a funded account, failed the funded account. Like so, but then he made 80 grand, right?
Yeah.
So it's like the return, what's the return on investment? How willing are you to spend money to then get that one time where you make that return, right? So it's interesting though. You basically one and done the challenge, which is pretty cool. So your return on investment, what do you have? How big is your account right now?
200K.
200K. So you spend probably like 800, $900, and then you got like a $26,000 payout.
Yeah, that was nice.
That's, I mean, that's as good as it gets there. You know,
Yeah.
doesn't get much better than that. It's, 200% return, whatever. It's a huge return, on your investment. So how did you originally find the funded trader, and why are you, kind of deciding to work with a funded trader? You work with other prop firms too, or?
Yes, I started off with the original prop firm, which a lot of people know, FTOM. Saw
Mhm.
them on YouTube. I had one of my mentors recommend me with them, so I ended up using them. The reason why I got in with the funded trader, as I am today, is through Blake. He likes to interview a lot of the prop firms, similar to all the other interviews. But I feel like I have a lot of trust into Blake because he does speak the truth about all these other prop firms, and I like that. I like people who shows a lot of transparency, just show the
Mhm.
proof. And I feel like if someone's going to be showing the proof, they're going to be speaking the truth. And I decided to try this prop firm out, and I like it so far. It's really good and it's growing rapidly.
Ha-
Support is
Have you
crazy
been
good
in from
now.
like day one in the like in the Discord and stuff, or when did you kind of join?
I'll say within weeks. I got in there within weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, so you've been in from the beginning, and you've seen
I
the
started yet with the FX choice thing. Yeah.
yeah, you've seen the evolution of the effect, having the first broker, the dashboard, all these different, logins with the dashboard, and then to the point that it's at now. Obviously, it's already progressed pretty quickly.
It has. It has.
Yeah.
It's a great company.
Yeah, and obviously the from our perspective, I mean, we're obviously, happy that Blake's on the team, because the whole reason behind linking up with him was because of the fact that he's very transparent, right? He's very knowledgeable on what he's doing with all these different prop firms. And at the end of the day, I mean, he's someone who, like you said, is kind of exposing a lot of these. He's exposing them. So from a standpoint of like running hours, I mean, we're doing the best we can in the constraints of like our investors and the people that are involved and the technology that we have, right, as a new company. But, we're trying to make sure that we don't walk on the line of like, you know, screwing any clients over or doing anything shady or whatever, in line with what our business model, like everything is, because at the end of the day, this is a trust-based business, right? We're
100%.
dealing with people trading accounts, spending a lot of time trading these accounts, expecting to be paid out large amounts of money. And I know, like, obviously recently there was that big thing that happened with another firm, and like people are getting paid out 10% of what they made or whatever it is. And it's just crazy. I mean, because you're making one promise and then delivering on another. So it's just not good business at the end of the day. So we're trying to continue to build that trust with our clients. I mean, we're only about 5 months in now. I mean, FTMO is pretty much like 8 years old if you really go back to when they started. So, the first year, we're definitely going to see a lot of growth, a lot of new tech. We're going to be listening to the feedback as much as we can. And yeah, it's been pretty cool. It's been pretty cool. And to have someone like you, who obviously you do your due diligence, you're not just signing up with whatever. You're really trying to only work with things that are, you see as trustworthy. It's, obviously you've looked at us being trustworthy, and we paid you out so far. So everything kind of aligned. So you've traded with FTMO, you said? Any other firms as well?
No, that's it. Just these two.
Have you gotten like a payout from FTMO or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Couple of them.
Okay. So you're pretty experienced then when it comes to kind of prop trading and all that. When you first found out about prop trading, what did you kind of think about it? Like, was it a mind blowing kind of thing, or like what was your thought about prop trading?
I couldn't believe it. I was like, how's someone putting 700, $600 for to get a 100K challenge? Like, what happens if I lose the money? Like, do I get penalized? I was just like, I just couldn't believe it. Then I started seeing pictures and started doing all these reviews, and I was like, oh, I'm just try it out myself. It doesn't hurt, it doesn't hurt to try. And the first two times I did fail my challenges from that prop firm.
Mhm.
But on my third go around, I passed it, and then that's when I saw my little withdrawal. I was like, oh, okay, these things are true. But then
Right.
I did see other prop firms, which is all over the
Y-
place.
Yeah, and like I've been around like in the industry from the beginning when FTMO really started to grow and to gain some traction. And in the beginning, it was the same with them. We mentioned this all the time. People were like, "Oh, they're scammers. They don't pay people out. This is like we don't trust this, whatever." And then over time, they had proof of payouts. They improved some technology, and now people all of a sudden are like, FTMO is the god. Like, so
Yeah,
for us, we're just taking it one step at a time. We know that we have a lot to prove. We're not trying to say that we're the best ever when, we're still relatively new. So it's just kind of one step at a time, for us. And that's pretty much it. So what motivates you to get into prop trading, to have these accounts, to get money? What's kind of your motivation?
my motivation is well, capital. Really, I like to trade bigger capital, and I like to have a bigger return. And usually, when I get my withdrawal, I usually throw it into a live account, leave it on the side. I'm trying to build that up right now. That's one thing I do like about prop trading is the capital is you pay so little. If you know what you're doing, you pass the valuation, which I like about it. You you can see a pretty nice return.
When it comes to like you making withdrawals, you just kind of you use all that money to fund accounts. Do you do anything else with that money? You said you're still working like a 9 to 5, right?
Yeah,
Do you have do you
yeah, I
uh
do.
do you have dreams of leaving that 9 to 5, or do you enjoy,
Oh yes, 100%.
what do you do with your 9 to 5?
I'm like a security like supervisor. Like I go around to different sites and check on people, make sure they're doing their jobs and things like that.
Okay. So how long you been doing that for?
On and off, like 5 years.
Have you like told anyone there you got like a $26,000 payout from
Oh, they
trading?
don't believe it. They don't. They tell me why am I still working?
They're
They're
probably like
like,
this. They're
dude,
probably like this guy is doing something illegal.
yeah, yeah. They don't. They're like, what are you doing here?
Yeah. So you don't have like any trading community or like any kind of social presence or whatever, or are you doing that, or do you have plans to do that in the future or anything?
At first, I didn't really had a trading community to work with, but but now I do. But now I do live streams and I do teach people my strategy in a way, and I do live streams, which is pretty cool now. The community I traded with is called the Technical Fundamentalists.
Hmm.
That's the
Okay.
group I'll
Where
be
can
working with.
people find you if they want to watch these live streams and stuff? Was it on YouTube?
I do it on Discord through my Instagram.
Okay. So your Instagram, Discord. So we'll gather those links and get them shared at the bottom of in the caption of the video so that people can find you and reach out and watch these streams or whatever. Because everyone's super interested, and obviously there's like anything else, trading is not easy. So there's gonna be that top percent of people who are making money. I mean, you're one of the people that have made a considerable amount from paying this $800. So people are definitely gonna be interested in seeing the strategy, seeing what you're doing. We're gonna get into that in a second. We're gonna take a look at Andy's strategy. He has announced or communicated that it's pretty complex. I mean, his name is Indicator Andy, so it's a lot of indicators, a lot of things going on the charts. But he's gonna do his best to explain that to you guys in a little bit. But first, I just want to touch on like what pairs do you actually trade?
GJ and GU, but mainly GJ. I usually try to focus on one pair. Then if I don't really see a setup that day, I won't trade it. Or if I do see a setup that day, I'm gonna just catch a little bit of pips and I'm done.
Now, in the beginning, were you trading like a lot of pairs, or were you always just kind of one or two pairs?
1 and 2.
And this
One and
is
two.
a theme that I'm seeing with a lot of people is the people that are super successful are really focusing on one or two pairs. They're not kind of all over the place trading a ton of pairs unless they have like some crazy EA. But even so, like mainly people are focusing on one pair, one or two pairs. Do you trade at specific times during the day, or you just kind of trade all over the place?
I usually trade when I get out of work. I usually turn on my computer. I usually draw out my charts. I have alerts have, so since I use a lot of indicators, I do have a little higher trading view account. So I have a lot of alerts. And when they go off, I usually come back, sit on my full on PC right here, and I see what's going on with the markets. And I look for a setup.
Now you touched a little bit on like the psychology in the beginning. You were like that where you're like doubting yourself a little bit, or you were like picking up one strategy, going to the next strategy, just kind of bouncing around. What kind of shifted and changed for you where you kind of were just like, I need to stop doing this and like focus in on like one way of doing things, or just kind of trust yourself more and create your own strategy? What kind of called you to do that?
Well, my stepdad told me what's the point of just throwing money everywhere if I already have all this knowledge already.
Mm-hmm.
And I decided to start back testing strategies and actually just put the work in. Let's say it like that, instead of just saying, "Oh, this strategy is going to work." One thing that was hardest for me was losing. I'm a
Okay.
big competitor. I don't like losing a
You're a
lot,
competitor.
and I'm gonna be
so
honest.
so am I, man. It's a hard life, but it's a rewarding one.
Yes, 100%. So I told myself, if I really want this, I need to work hard for it. And one thing I realized is repetition. You got to be on the charts a lot. You got to be on there. If you're not on there, you're not. You can't just snap your fingers and boom, I'm a profitable trader the next day.
Yeah, it's actually pretty crazy that it relates so much to sports. I mean, you could also relate it to
Yeah,
like poker and like a lot of other strategy based games, but it's literally just the person who is more involved, who's getting more reps, they're ultimately going to have that edge. Like they're ultimately going to be in a position to win at the end of the day, right?
yeah,
The person that's just showing up like once a week, once a month, they're going to be rusty. They're not going to know the conditions of the market as well as someone who's been in it every day. And they're not going to do as good. So, that's definitely a solid point is we're not telling you guys to literally be on the chart like all day. Like you don't need to
mm,
die like looking at the chart. But at the same time, you should have some habitual, sequence, have some sort of discipline that how you're gonna go about things, whether it's gonna be once a week, you're gonna be testing, and then you're gonna trade during certain hours or whatever. If you're like Andy and you work and then you're gonna trade after work, I mean, it's kind of forcing you to have set hours because you're not available during certain hours. So just kind of, being disciplined and going about it a certain way and being consistent is a common theme for most people that are successful. It's how you're going to get all those discoveries and it's how you're going to build confidence at the end of the day. You're not going to build confidence by buying a course, right? You're going to build confidence by taking a course, taking what you've learned, and then having enough trust in yourself to go ahead and test it and to go on to phase three, which is testing, getting into the live market. We talk about this all the time with like our trading group is there's people that get our course that don't make any money ever. And then there's certain people who especially the ones that do all the testing, the back testing, and all of a sudden they're like better traders than I am. You know what I mean? They're better. They're because they're more involved. They're more consistent with their testing, and they're taking all these things and putting into practice. And then it's not like a secret like how to get success. Like you have to change. You have to figure out what works for you. Like just to comment on that for even myself is the point at which I started making money was the point at which I was like, I'm just gonna figure out like whatever it takes. Like whatever it takes, like however I can make money, if it's using this strategy or trading at this time of the day or this or that, whatever, what this pair, that pair, like I'm just gonna, no matter what, I'm gonna figure it out. Like it's just got to get to that point. But definitely is, the psychology behind that is big. I want to ask another question. Like when you take a few losses, how do you kind of recenter yourself and come back from that?
oh, I let the whole trading week go. I usually write it down in my journal. This is the day I lost. Then on Saturday or Friday night, those are the nights. Well, Friday for me, not Friday night for me, it's the markets are closed. So I go back and I reflect on it, and I usually tell like my significant other to go to the charts to back view it, and I'll be in another room so I won't see the whole chart again, so it can be fresh to me. Then I'll go back and I try to do it again. Like you have to reflect on your losses. You have to go back and you have to see what you did wrong, because one thing I realized, I'm going to tell everyone, patient is key. Patient is key. You got to wait for a good setup and you got to wait. You can't just rush into things. And that's something that gets me going because I'm a very hyper kid. I'm just just naturally hyper. So I told myself, just calm down, let things happen. Just let it happen.
Yep.
You can't rush things. Just that's something in this business I realized the hard way.
So easy to think that you can make this money like quickly, but it's like any business. Like it takes time. Takes time. And I mean, when it comes to trading, that time might be a couple days. We're not talking a year, wait a couple days for a setup. But if you're not being patient and you take a bunch of trades the first day, a lot of people are doing this with their funded accounts. The first week, they're taking a ton of trades, and then they're like either blowing the account or the account's so far down that it's like impossible to recover. It's like 11% down, 11.5% down. And it's literally just from like revenge trading for 2 days. So I think that's interesting. I mean, it's almost hard for people to believe about this whole journaling thing. So many people talk about how they write down, like they reflect on how they thought about the situation, how they feel, whatever, and then they go back and reflect on it. It's almost hard for people to believe that people do this. So like
That's
when did you start doing this, and like kind of why did you realize that this was important to do?
I started doing it when I failed my first two challenges with the other prop firm, and I was like, you know what? I'm actually gonna write it down. What's so hard to write something down that takes less than 5 minutes? Why? Why am I doing this to myself? So ever since I started writing stuff down, I legitly have my own journal. My little journal. I'm gonna show you. I don't know if the blur will block it out.
Mm-hmm.
But I wrote my little journal. It's called Forex Notes. I write it there every single. I have it next to me all the time. It's a need. Like
I
you
also
need it
want to I
because
also want to comment on that.
it
Like
helps out a lot.
literally, you have a notebook. You just wrote on the notebook. Like guys, you don't need all this fancy equipment. You don't need all these crazy like all this crazy shit. You know what I mean?
Online,
Like
yeah.
you don't need all that.
Paper pen.
You literally need at the base level a phone, but most important, you really need a computer. But you need something
Yeah.
you can chart on, something that works, and you need to get your psyche in gear. Like you need to get that figured out. That's really what you need.
But yeah, I feel like the journal really exceeded my level. Like it just made me exponentially just go crazy with the markets. Because if I didn't use that, then didn't really reflect on it, I feel like I would have still been struggling today.
Right. And the way that I see it is if say you have a bad day and you don't write out about it or whatever, that's just kind of stick it in your head for like the
Yeah.
next week. Like just write it out, get it off your chest, get out of your system, and then reflect on it. And then it's gonna change your perspective. That's really what it is. How are you gonna manage to keep the funded account? I know you said you're gonna pause on trading it a little bit, and then you're gonna go for the challenge. Do you plan on kind of keeping a buffer with the account? What's your plans with it?
For my plans right now, it just first focus on the challenge, then hopefully I can. Well, not hopefully. I will change my words. I like to be positive. I am going to combine my two accounts. Then from right there, most likely I will get a buffer since I did work really hard to get these two accounts to combine them to 600K. Then I'll leave a little buffer in there.
Are you gonna try to go for the scaling plan?
100%.
Yeah, I mean you're already on your way there now. For those that don't know, the scaling plan, you need to withdraw 2 out of 3 months, and then you need to be average 6% over those 3 months. So technically like 2% a month. So yeah, you're on your way there. And if you qualify for the scaling plan, at that point you get 90% payouts. And then obviously you get bumped up a little bit, 25% of what the balance is, which is obviously good. So would you describe yourself as like a swing trader, intraday, scalper? What's your trading style?
I say more intraday trader. Sometimes there's a scalp, but more intraday trade. I'm usually in there for like an hour, 3 hours.
Okay, so you're not holding, you're not swinging these trades for too long, which is cool. Do you use fundamentals or no?
A little bit.
What do you use for it? What websites?
Um, Forex Factory,
Anything else? Just that?
just that.
Just that. So give us like a quick insight into your strategy. We're gonna hop on charts in a second, but give us a quick rundown of what kind of it consists of.
EMAs, SMAs. I use an algo that says buy and sell indicator. I use that as Confluence for everyone out there. Use it for Confluence. I don't get it when it says buy or sell. I just use it as Confluence.
Mm-hmm. Have you
Yeah,
built
that's
these
it.
EAs yourself or not EAs, these indicators, or have you bought these indicators?
I bought one,
Hmm.
the Auga, I bought the Auga.
Nice. So it's interesting because obviously there's a lot of garbage out there, but you've seen to find, a decent indicator. Where did you kind of find it from and how much did you pay for it?
At the time, it was $200 when I got it. And the name of the one I use is called Trusty Signals
Hmm.
or Trusted Signals. That's the one I use.
Cool. You want to hop on and kind of show a little bit?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Share my screen.
So yeah, this is what you're talking about. There's a lot going on here.
A lot.
So yeah, walk us through walk us through here kind of the methodology behind all these indicators because obviously it's pretty crazy and you got a lot going on here.
Yeah. 10 indicators rolling. So for instance, I should just go back in time, right?
Yeah,
Probably go
no,
right
whatever
here.
you want to do.
I'll go right here. I'll do a little back test right here. So this is a 30-minute. I usually trade off of the 30-minute.
Hmm.
And the last thing you see is my buy and sell indicator, the auto says buy. This is an EMA cloud. This is the EMA cloud. I have so many lines. So what I usually do, how to draw my zones, is this is one thing I really struggled on. And I feel like this strategy of mine really helps me for drawing out zones. I usually like to draw a little line. So I'm going to draw a line right here at the bottom at the support. And I like to, and I label it. So there's a 30-minute zone. So I put 30-minute and I'll leave like that. I come up here. I use a magnet so I can pinpoint it. Leave it right there. This is a 30-minute, right? So you see how it popped up right here on the bottom.
Hmm.
So I like to wait for a break. Also, when I'm looking at my indicators, I'm gonna tell you one thing about indicators. When you see all your indicators in the middle of the candlesticks, that means it's consolidating. You see how over here they're all above and they're pushing down on this side.
Hmm.
Yeah. So pretty much I'm just waiting. So I'll show you how I get in. So majority of the time, if I see this, I usually get in. Let's see. This is what I usually do.
So if you see like a breakout right here.
Yeah, I usually see a breakout and I usually get in like this. But I usually go on the smaller time frames now. Since I'm in it, I like to have 10. I like to have like at least 10. What do you call it? 10 pips.
Mhm.
Every 10 pips is like a TP level I like to look at. So now I'm gonna go on the 5-minute.
Yeah, what do you have on here? You have like key level or quarters on here? Like what is all these lines that you have?
It
It's like every
it
10 pips.
it's called the higher low strategy.
Okay. So what does that consist of?
This usually like swings your trades. So like this is your higher. So you see how this creates your higher high, your higher
Mhm.
low, and you see this can break above right here. It's like a little double top and it comes down.
Right.
Don't worry, I know market structure too. Okay, guys, that's something that's very key. I don't know why my thing did this. It did like a gap. I don't
Yeah,
know
I'm
why it did
just
that.
sometimes it's in the lower time frame. I'm just seeing so many lines. Like every 10 pips, this is a line. It's crazy. So it just shows that everyone just has their own way of just looking at things.
So you see right here how it does. So one thing I like to tell a lot of my students, I actually have it saved. This is one thing I always reflect to everybody. If it no retest, no entry. So if it doesn't do that, don't get in. So you see how it came up here?
Hmm.
You see it said sell? That doesn't throw me off. That doesn't throw me off at all because I know it's gonna retest. You see retest? Then I can't then now it's on its way up.
Yeah, like if
I
you don't know
didn't
what you're doing with this indicator, this thing looks like it could throw you off.
yeah. I use the magnet. I don't know why I have the magnet here still on, but I'm just gonna leave it like that. I don't know how high it's gonna go yet because what I do is I just keep looking at my indicators. So you see how it's going up,
Hmm.
and I like to put it under the previous right here.
So those are like support levels that it's marking out for you.
Yeah, it's like support levels. And like you see my cloud, it's still blue.
Mm-hmm.
My EMA cloud, this is the EMA cloud. If you want to know what's going on, like these
Mm-hmm.
are the EMA clouds. I have a smooth moving average. I use EMAs and all these other ones. Since it still hasn't crossed over, I'm still going. Let me see what time it is. This is 8 o'clock my time. Then so since it hasn't crossed over, I won't get out. Usually when I see this, I usually get out of the market when I see this. When I see this, I'm like, oh, I'm getting out because it crossed over.
Because it breaks the support of
Yeah,
the moving averages.
yeah, like it breaks and I usually get out. Then after that, I look for another setup. I just keep looking and looking. But usually I try to get 10 pips. Every 10 pips, I'll cut my position. Every 10 pips. What is this? Where are
And
we at?
you
Seven,
trade
eight,
from your
eight.
phone or you trade on MT4?
I put the thing on my phone. I don't really know how to explain it. I'm like a little kid right here. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I do it on my. Everyone's like, "What the heck?" Okay, so I do it on my phone, but I look at everything on the charts
Right.
on.
So you're using
The,
Trading View. You've got what plan you got on Trading View?
let me
You
see.
got like the premium.
The pro, I think it's the pro. It's the pro plus or pro, like the second, like almost the highest, but the second highest one.
Now, do you ever like clear your chart at all, or you're just
Oh, I
like
do all the time. I can do it right now. It's not a big deal. I just clear out the whole thing, and I always start on the 30-minute every day. Every day I start on the 30-minute.
but you're always just leaving all these indicators on?
Oh yeah, these indicators staying on.
What's
I
like
need
what's like the average size move that you have, like in pips wise and time and everything?
usually during like pre-London because you can catch a whole move. Pre-London and London, so you see this cloud right here, and it's all red.
Mm-hmm.
You can catch this whole move. Then you can also get out on the smaller time frame. You see it on the bigger time frame. Then after that, you just get out in the bigger time frames. That's what I usually do.
So when someone kind of starts off with you and you're bringing all these, introducing all these indicators and all these lines and everything, like how do you kind of, get them up to speed on what's going on here?
A lot of people always ask on my live stream, what is this? What is that? And I usually go over it one by one.
Mhm.
And I always tell people to ask me questions because I like teaching a lot of people. So I usually
Yeah.
go over it one by one. I can also take off the indicators. It's not a big deal. I can just do this
Mm-hmm.
and just show them like this is a little double top. This right here is resistance. I show them the basics first. Anybody that wants to learn, I'm going to show you the basics first. I'm not going to show you what the indicators on because the indicators will throw everyone off. You see this, you're just going to be like, what is going on? What is all that? You know,
It's a lot. It's a lot to
it's
take in.
yeah, it's a lot.
You're saying you're trading GJ mostly. You take more buys than sells for the most part, or you say like equal?
Like equal. If I see sells, I'm going to go for sells, but I usually try to stay with one bias for the day.
Okay. And you're at what point during the day do you kind of like stop trading? Either when you're up a lot, when you're down a lot, like when do you kind of call it quits for the day?
A big move that's like 40 pips or so, and I'll just get out usually. Then if I take two losses back to back, I'm done for today. I'm not going back on the computer no more.
Mm-hmm. And what are you risking per trade? 1%, 2%?
I like I like to go 2% usually since you guys give out more of a leverage in my point of view.
Mm-hmm. So you're out here slinging 2%, 2% per trade. Nice.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead. Is there anything else you want to show about the strategy?
Yeah, like how to hold how to hold the trade. I could show someone a little bit. Well, I already showed that, but pretty much when it crosses over, you want to get out. You can use these higher low strategies as your resistance and support levels. You can use this. You can always change the settings of it to your liking. The one I use is 5 and 5. Other people use 10 and 10. Some of my students use 10 and 10. But it comes standard 2 and 2, which is really it's on every up and down, which is you don't really need all that.
Okay. Cool. Let's go ahead and everyone can find you. We'll link your YouTube, your Discord below, or
Okay.
however they can get in touch with you, your Instagram, Discord. Let's go ahead. We're actually gonna pull up your dashboard real quick and take a look. So obviously you're up right now, 213, which is obviously pretty good amount. You're up about 13%, and you've already gotten. We went through this. You've already gotten a withdrawal of about 26K.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're doing well, you're killing it, and you're on your way to getting the scaling plan. You're almost there. So we'll see if Andres, continues to make some appearances on the leaderboard, coming up. We'll see if you're going for the 400K account here, which is obviously, cool. So best of luck. Best of luck with that. And that being said, where do you see Funded Trader? You've been with us kind of from the beginning. What's your current, take on the Funded Trader, like your honest opinion? And where do you kind of see all this going from here?
Like pros and cons, in my opinion,
Yeah, yeah. You
or like,
just give some pros and cons.
well, I think you know already because I text you. I'm a little upset about the copy trader thing because I really wanted to do both at the same time simultaneously, but now I have to do it on my phone and on the computer. So that's a little difficult to manage two accounts at the same time. That's why I told myself I'm just gonna focus on one account right now. Just right now, I'm just gonna focus on my 400K. Go back later, and then I'll focus on both of it when it's combined. That's something that bothers me. The EA part doesn't really bother me because I can trade myself manually, personally. That's what I can do. What I see in this prop firm, it's good. It's very good. Your guys' support is getting way better. It's getting faster. One thing I do like is you're very involved in the community. You're always on Discord. You're answering questions, and that's one thing I like a lot. Is you're involved. You're there for us. You're not. Oh, I'm just supporting them for a little bit, then you're gone. You're there for the community, and that's the best for someone like me that's starting off, and other people that are like, oh, this guy's really there. He's helping us out. He's answering questions, and that means a lot. Honestly, I feel like customer service and you out here showing your face and all that stuff. It's phenomenal. It's great.
Yeah, and I mean for I was actually thinking about this today because so my buddy yesterday, he woke up and he looks at his trust wallet and it says that he has 110 million for this one coin, right? He put in
Okay.
like 500 bucks and then it said he had a 2 million% return or something. So I'm like, we were like freaking out. Like we're like, holy shit, like how do we withdraw this? Like he couldn't sell it like on the exchange we're on. And I was like in that moment, like there was like an hour that was going on. Where we were like trying to figure out how to cash it out, and it would go up to like 240 million. And we were like, holy shit, like what the hell
That's
is
a
going
lot.
on? And then we ended up like going on Twitter, and someone on Twitter was like, yeah, like it's an error like in the blockchain, like they're
Oh, I
updating
heard
the
about
the
that.
framework of the coin or some shit, and it like literally just bogged out, and like no one is actually worth like it was really worth like $80 or something. Like it was
Oh,
insane. But it made me reflect on that, and I was like, damn, like if he cashes out and gives me $10 million right now, right? What would I do? Most people would be like, oh, I'm just gonna stop working and just do whatever. I don't even know, like just hang out or whatever, invest my money and then do nothing. But I was like, you know what? I would still be doing what I'm doing. I love what I do, like in building our trading community, Forex League, and then the Funded Trader. Like I just think it's so cool, like what we're building. Like I'm super passionate about it. So at that point, it's like to me, it's like I'm in the right position. Like I'm building something that even if I got a ton of money, because at the end of the goal, we're all trying to make money, right? But even if I got a ton of money, I still would want to build this project. I love trading. Like I love the opportunities it gives. I love the idea of like helping people become their own boss and like getting away from the slavery of like a 9 to 5 and like all of that. I haven't worked a 9 to 5 in like 2 years, man. And I'll literally like eat dirt before going back because to me, the freedom is more, it's like the biggest prize, in at least our country, in any country, having the freedom to do what you want and to build what you want and have your own schedule. So yeah, man, I love being involved in the community. I think it's cool. Like I've met so many people just from building Forex League with my partner Nick, and now with the Funded Trader, and like meeting tons of like connections through the Funded Trader. And ultimately the goal is for me is to just other people that I can do business with. At the end of the day, I mean, we're funding everyone, which is great, but ultimately the long-term goal of any prop firm is to identify like those few traders who are really the diamonds in the rough and building like entire businesses around those people, like with investors and with technology, and obviously, giving them the exact kind of situations they need to do their best. So yeah, it's a great opportunity for myself, and I'm more than happy to be involved. In the funded trader. I have fun doing it. Obviously, there's every now and then there's some back and forth in the Discord. People like want to kill me and stuff, but it's overall it's a
You're doing
good
great.
time. It's a good time, and I look at it like this: like we're not Walmart. Sure, we want to be like as big of a company as we can, but this is a community by traders, by myself, Blake, a few other partners. We're gonna run things the way that we want to run things. If people don't like the tone sometimes or the rules or whatever, I mean, that's a tough life. You got to find a community that works for you. I think what makes us stand out is we want to be. It's either you love us or hate us. We want to build a strong community of people that we're all kind of similar in the way we think, and I think that'll be extremely powerful in the long run. Having that sense of camaraderie between all of us. So yeah, thanks for the kind words. Thanks for hopping on doing the interview. I know you said it was your first one. Good work, and we hope to obviously have you on future interviews, getting future payouts, and keep killing it, man.
All right. Thank you.
All right, guys. So if you want to find Andy, we're gonna post his links down below in the description. For everyone that enjoyed the interview, thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.
So.